The spaghetti was fine, my life was just fine. I sat at dinner feeling invisible while Lisa glowed from her latest sound bath. She talked about chakras and manifesting joy. I just wanted someone to ask how my day was. I swirled noodles, my thoughts going nowhere. My feelings were like a cracked bowl, silent, empty. The silence was deafening. That was my life, fine but empty. The garage was my thinking space, or as society calls it, the man cave. It smelled of sawdust and gasoline, a potpourri of masculinity. One evening I tried to open up. Lisa was organizing recycling bins. "Hey," I started, my voice rusty. "I've been feeling a little off, down." I watched her face, hoping for empathy. She frowned, confused. "Down? Maybe you should get back to the gym. You always feel better when you're fixing things." Just like that, my attempt at vulnerability was redirected to home improvement. My feelings were a problem to be solved, not a story to be heard. Men don't talk, they do. They don't process, they build. I looked at the weight bench, a symbol of my isolation. Even my friend Dave said, "Time for some bench therapy, buddy, man up." So I sat on the cold vinyl, the barbell looming over me. I didn't want to lift weights. I wanted to lift the weight off my chest. I wanted to talk about feeling like a supporting character in my own life. But the garage wasn't a confessional. It was a workshop. My feelings were just another broken appliance I was expected to fix alone. I just sat there, surrounded by tools that couldn't fix what was truly broken, and the silence pressed in. The annual neighborhood picnic was a masterclass in suburban performance. I stood by the grill, flipping burgers, surrounded by people but never more alone. The air was thick with meaningless chatter, lawns, cars, soccer teams. My neighbor Tom clapped me on the shoulder. "That's what we do, right? Keep the ship sailing." I wanted to say, "Tom, my ship is sinking." Instead, I just smiled. I watched Lisa laughing with her friends, radiant and connected. They were a circle of support. I was on an island of hot coals and processed meat. Dave showed off his new deck. Another man, another project. I felt a surge of quiet, desperate rage. The whole scene felt like a play, and I was the tragic clown. Everyone played their part, gossiping wives, project-obsessed husbands, wild kids, and me, the silent provider of burgers, my inner world burning to a crisp. I wondered how many were like me, screaming inside, calmly asking if anyone wanted cheese. The loneliness was an ocean. Mark wasn't an anomaly, he was part of a silent majority. Studies show many men feel emotionally neglected by partners and peers. Society encourages women to seek support, but men are told to man up. The old stereotypes persist, men as rocks, never allowed to crack. Lisa wasn't a villain, just a product of a culture that champions female wellness but leaves men behind. When he said, "I'm fine," she heard, "I'm fine." She didn't know it meant, "I'm drowning." The expectation for men to be fixers creates a terrible paradox. When the problem is internal, they're left with a puzzle they can't solve. This pressure isolates them, making it hard to admit they need help. So millions of men turn to silence, hobbies, distractions. They suffer quietly, convinced their struggle is a personal failing. They're told to be strong, but never taught that true strength is vulnerability. The picnic was a perfect diorama of this quiet, widespread crisis. It was Mrs. Henderson's comment that did it. "Oh Mark, you're just a saint, always so quiet and dependable. You men are just so simple, aren't you?" Something inside Mark snapped, a quiet seismic shift. He put down the spatula, turned off the grill, and faced the small crowd. "I'm not simple," he said, voice steady. "I'm not a rock, and I'm not fine." The smiles faltered. This wasn't in the script. "You see me here at this grill and think you know me. But you don't see me. None of you do." He looked at his friends. "You tell me to man up and go to the gym. You think the bench press is therapy? It's not. It's a monument to everything I'm not allowed to say." Across the lawn, Lisa stopped talking, sensing the change. Mark's voice grew stronger. "I have feelings. I get sad, I get lonely, I get overwhelmed, and I am drowning in the silence. I don't want to be the man of the house. I just want to be a man in the house, a person who gets to be sad sometimes." A profound silence settled over the picnic. Everyone stared at Mark, not with pity but with recognition. He had said the quiet part out loud. He had broken the unspoken rule. He looked at Lisa. Her face was pale, but focused. For the first time in years she was truly listening. The crowd was silent, the music distant. Mark stood there, exposed but unburdened. The weight of years of silence finally lifted. He had dared to be emotionally honest in public. The world didn't end, It just got quieter. Lisa's eyes met his, and something shifted between them. The first real connection in years. The first step toward being seen, and for a moment Mark wasn't alone. The walk home was silent, but it was a new kind of silence, one that made space for something real. Inside, Lisa turned to Mark, eyes full of shock and understanding. "I had no idea," she whispered. "I'm so sorry, I heard you. I finally heard you." It wasn't a fix, but it was a start. That night, they talked. Not about chakras or sound baths, but about Mark. For the first time, he didn't edit his feelings. He talked about loneliness, invisibility, the crushing weight of the silent bench. He explained he didn't need her to fix him, just to listen. Lisa listened, and she cried. Not for him, but with him. She was finally seeing the whole person, not just the role. The next day, Mark called a therapist. It was his turn to find a Brenda. Lisa sat beside him, holding his hand. A small gesture, but monumental. It was a promise. His wellness was now a team sport. The silent bench lost its power. It was just a bench. The journey ahead wouldn't be easy, but something fundamental had changed. The foundation of their marriage was being repaired. Mark was learning his voice mattered. Lisa was learning that true partnership means listening, even when it's hard. They were moving from separate, lonely paths onto a shared one. And for the first time in a long time, Mark felt something other than fine. He felt hope.